Beat of the trumpet and loud and free, Jesus is coming again.
All right. Planet X. Today they call Planet X a brown dwarf star. This approaching brown dwarf star is plausibly as massive as 10 to 12 Jupiter masses. That is as much mass as about 3,200 Earths. This estimation makes sense to me, says a gentleman, considering that most sources we have heard from believe that it is a brown dwarf star. Robert Harrington, formerly the chief astronomer of the U.S. Naval Observatory, did say it's a very nice, good planet. So it seems that he did not realize then, way back in 1991, while it was way out in deep space, that it is likely a brown dwarf star. Attached above is a photo of the actual front page Washington Post article. And the reason I'm talking about it again today is because there is much upheaval going on in our world today, in the earth, in the skies above, and in the earth beneath. Let me just see if I can sort of give a little bit to you. They tell us this as this so-called or applicable Planet X, this brown dwarf star, accelerates and comes into our solar system. The gravitational pull of our sun, its enormous magnetic forces are increasingly boiling and churning Earth's magnetic core, while this brown dwarf star has a tremendous pull. It's actually plucking up the Earth's surface even under the sea. Buckling seabeds are now being observed, such as in the Coral Sea and in the Gulf of Mexico, generating sinkholes all over China, generating unprecedentedly frequent high-magnitude earthquakes. At least 3 years ago, Mark, who was a veteran of the Persian Gulf War, maintains contact with certain acquaintances in the government, and they told me that a geologist friend with the U.S. Geological Survey told him that they were surveying the seabed over 3 years ago of the Gulf of Mexico for great oil drilling opportunities, and that they expect to see land masses rising up from the Gulf of Mexico seabed. So it seems that pieces of this puzzle now are fitting together. The global power elite foresaw the Gulf of Mexico seabed rising. They were overcome with oil greed, but knew that in the next few years they would have to flee the Gulf when the newly popping undersea volcanoes start to break out like hives all over the planet. And they knew that. So in order to forestall or not preempt, can't do that, public panic, they would have to make it look as if a corporate recklessness had caused the Gulf of Mexico to burst up bleeding. Because if the people were to discern that natural disasters are exploding all over the earth, then these power elite controllers of the masses would have the reign of global enslavement abruptly yanked out of their greedy fists. I think what they're trying to tell us here is that this is another one of those engineered panic buttons that the elite who are seeking to preserve themselves in this day of God's wrath are perpetuating. The elite can only forestall public panic for a short while. It is becoming conspicuous that their plan B is to go underground. Now, I don't know, is anybody going to hear what I'm saying? The kings of the earth hide themselves in the dens of the earth, and they cry to the mountains and the rocks to hide them from the wrath of Almighty God. Wow. And as much as they clandestinely have tried to do or conceal this, they have these underground cities. Underground, with enough supplies to last for many, many months or even years for the hand-picked elite who are using their wealth to do this. Governor Jesse Ventura vividly documented with his Truth TV film the footage of the elite's elaborate underground cities beneath the Denver airport and deep within the bowels of Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. The brown dwarf star electrified gas coma is both electromagnetically exciting the sun. The result will be abrupt reversion to primitive life for anyone who can shelter themselves from the lethal solar scorching. Do you know the Bible prophesies that the earth is going to get so hot and the sun is going to get so scorching that the tongue of a man will stick to the roof of his mouth? Wow. Wow. NAS and NASA say that 2012 is the year to expect this solar scorching. The sun will not switch from normal to scorching in an instant, like the flipping of a light switch. Rather, the solar scorching is already gradually intensifying. It is imperative that we, Christians, citizens, or whoever, establish some kind of a communication network in order to be able to find where we can protect ourselves, or as God will lead us into a pavilion to hide us from the wrath of this terrible, terrible worldwide disaster that's coming. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. And when they cry to you, peace, safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. As travail cometh upon a woman's child, they shall not escape. You're in tune with the Overcomer radio broadcast.